Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am back with another review slash thoughts and opinions slash just sharing my thoughts on a Netflix show. I did a few of these other videos. I will link them down below if you want to watch. Basically, whenever I watch a show, whenever I binge watch a show, I just have this need to talk about it. I bother a lot of my friends with this, so I thought I'll bother you too. Just love discussing TV shows with people. I love analyzing it with people. It's just my thing. Just a warning, in the beginning of the video I will definitely not give any spoilers, just for like people who haven't watched the show and whether like they're debating whether or not they should watch the show. And in the second part of the video, which is probably the longer part of the video, I'm gonna go full into every single detail that I felt is worth talking about. And whoever else has watched the show, please join me on this discussion. DM me, comment below what you think as well about the show. Let's get into it. The show I'm going to be talking about today is Kingdom. Kingdom is this MMA based fighting show which was actually released I think in 2014, correct me if I'm wrong, and it had 3 seasons, 2014 to 2017, and now they just put it up on Netflix, so that's why it's been gaining a lot of traction recently. And I was recommended by my friend to watch it and I fell in love with it immediately. From the first episode itself, I was just like, whoa. Basically just a rundown on what the show is and just see whether you would like it or not. It involves a like an ex-MMA fighter, an ex-wrestler who is now a coach of his 2 sons, and he runs a gym with his girlfriend. And then his ex-wife is a prostitute, and one of the sons is Nick Jonas, so another son is really hot and really like, ooh. One of his legendary fighters, one of his star fighters, gets released out of prison and he comes back to the gym, but also happens to be the ex-boyfriend of the current coach's girlfriend. Let me start again. Just Google the synopsis of the show, okay? It's a very not a family friendly show. Do not watch this with your family, kids. It's a lot of violence, it's a lot of nudity, a lot of sex. If that's your thing, then watch it. But other than that, all the other drawing factors that would, grapple an audience to watch the show, the storyline hits different. It's such an interesting storyline. I don't think I've ever watched a show like this, and I'm gonna just walk you through why you should watch this show. I'm just gonna go through the characters. So basically there's Alvy. Alvy runs the gym. He is the main guy on the show. He's the dad, and he has 2 sons. One is Jonathan Tucker, who plays Jay, and Nick Jonas, who plays Nate. Now, I'm gonna get into the Nick Jonas part, but first let me talk about Jonathan Tucker, who plays Jay. He is one of the finest actors I have seen on screen, hands down. He captivates you in every single scene that he's in, every single frame, every single shot that he's in. I cannot even explain to you how much I'm just like, I just want to watch him. I would watch an entire TV show just with him. He is one of the most talented actors I've ever watched on screen. Really, like, he does so much with just his eyes because he looks so crazy. And he's in the first season itself, I mean, you are introduced to him with Nick Jonas, or Nate, walking into his own room, and his brother is having sex with another girl, like completely butt naked and with this weird hat on. So you already like have quite a negative impression of Jay in the first episode itself, but his character will grow on you. Give it like 3 episodes or so, and then, because at first also I didn't like Jay. I was just like, what is this dude doing? He's not a good guy. But he grows on you, and I love that they made me think that he was some like screwed up dude. He is, but he really grows on you. He has a very interesting story arc. I think one of the most interesting story arcs I've watched, period. And I loved, it was a pleasure watching him on screen because he is just chef's kiss. The other actor I want to talk about is actually Nick Jonas. Now, Nick Jonas, when I found out that he was on this show, I was just like, do I really want to watch it? Did this show like, just hire him because he is Nick Jonas? But let me tell you, this man can act. I am stunned at Nick Jonas's acting. I knew he could act, but he outdid himself in this show. He is not as captivating as Jonathan Tucker as Jay, just because Jay's character is a lot more colorful, a lot more messed up in the head. Nate's character is actually a lot more quiet, a lot more simple. He is yet with a very complicated emotional background. He is very, the way he smiles, the way he smirks, the way he is just pleasant to watch. And Nick Jonas, literally they could not have found anyone better for this role. And I remember watching an interview. I started watching the reunion on Zoom. I wish I was on the call, but on YouTube they uploaded the reunion on Zoom. And I think the interviewer asked the creator of the show, like, why did you get Nick Jonas? And he was like, well, at first, if they had a pop star on the show, he was afraid that people might not watch it, which fair enough, that's what I felt as well. But the minute Nick Jonas went into the audition, he knew the role was made for him. Like, he is just such, I think the word is he's gentle. He's very gentle with his role, which is Nate's character, but Nate is also a fighter, so he's gentle with that still fighting instinct, and he has such an interesting storyline as well. Although I will say his storyline is a little bit predictable. It's a little bit like, okay, he's been there, done that, seen it before, but still it was really, really great watching him. Alvy also is very, very hot. The whole cast of the show is really, really hot. So Alvy is just, your really hot dad. He holds the show together, definitely. He is the glue that holds the show and the cast together. But he's not the most interesting to watch, but his acting as well is top notch. Just to see his acting and to see him in therapy, talking to his therapist at the age almost 50, having a younger girlfriend, having 2 sons. Actually, you know what? No, his storyline is interesting. He is a father who had a terrible childhood with his own father, and now he was raised to be a certain way, and he's very, very tough on his boys, and yet he loves them to death. And yeah, so it's an interesting watch to see how he struggles being a father and also a coach, and also juggling his sons and his top fighter Ryan that comes in. So let's go to Ryan. Ryan is another character that is very interesting to watch. Very good looking guy as well, buzz cut, beard, looks very fierce, straight out of prison. So the first episode, he's released from prison, comes back to the gym. Basically, he used to be Alvy's top fighter 5 years ago, and then after that, he left Alvy to go to another gym. None of this is spoilers, by the way. In the first episode, you will find all of this out. And when he comes back, and then he goes to prison for a certain reason, which I won't say, that's a spoiler. And he comes back to Alvy, and Alvy takes him under his wing. But the thing is that he's also the ex-boyfriend of Alvy's current girlfriend, Lisa. So things get a little complicated there. But I will say, don't go in expecting some like, oh my god, it's a love triangle. That's what I thought it was going to be, and I was so pleasantly happy when it wasn't. That's not a spoiler as well. It's just like, you will thank me, because you should watch the show. It's not some teen drama with like, oh my god, there's a love triangle between 2 grown men and 1 woman who cannot make up her mind. No, it is very, very well done. Ryan stays in his lane, Alvy and Lisa figure out their relationship. So it's a very, very nice thing. It's not the center of attention, which I really, really appreciate, because I'm done with all the love triangles. We've seen it. Give me something different, Lisa is my favorite character. Actually, one of my favorite characters. I'll tell you my other favorite character. Lisa is one of my favorite characters, hands down, because she is the most badass woman I have seen on television. Actually, don't quote me on that. I'm sure there are other, but right now I can't think of anyone. How do I describe her? She deals with so many men and so much testosterone, and in the first episode itself, you see how she kicks ass. Like, she tells people to get out of the gym, like, if you don't pay, then just get out. Like, she is a hard ass. I think that's what she is, and in the best way possible. And I feel like this show needed that strong female character, just because there's so many male dominant characters, but this female character is in no way preachy, in no way like, oh, feminism, which, if you're not a feminist, what are you doing? But it's not that way. Like, it's very subtle, but so hard on, especially when she deals with Alvy. And Alvy's a very big guy. He's a very aggressive, angry man, and she doesn't take any of his bullshit. And I love it. She's how many years younger, but she doesn't feel inferior to Alvy by age, and she knows her worth. And I think that is such an interesting thing to watch, because It is nothing that is too pushy, but yet it is so nice to watch her on screen. And as the storyline progresses, you'll see her storyline arc also improve, and she goes through a whole journey which I really like to watch. Now, one of my other favorite characters is Christina. This woman also captivates the screen. Like, she just fills it because her storyline was the most interesting, hands down. Like, her relationship with Jay in this show is impeccable. It's something else. It's a mother-son relationship that is so damaged beyond repair, but Jay does everything in his power to save that relationship, to save his own mother. So what I mean by that, again, it's all in the first episode. Jay finds his mother and has to pay the pimp because the mother is a prostitute, and he goes to see his mother literally by paying the pimp and not telling the pimp that, you know, he is her son. To see Christina from episode 1 all the way till the end of season 3, just watch it. Through all the characters, I don't want to go through the storyline, so up till this point it's just part of the video where if you have not watched Kingdom on Netflix, literally watch it. I binge watched it in I don't even know how many days. Like, I finished all 3 seasons. It's a very good watch, but it is not a perfect show, and this is the part of the video where I'm going to go through every single thing that I think went wrong / my thoughts and opinions on the show that I loved, certain scenes, certain characters, and all of this part of the video on will have spoilers, so just warning you, please click out if you haven't watched it and come back in after you've watched it. And if you've watched the show, then welcome to the discussion. Okay, so some of my favorite scenes, hands down, I think off the bat, was Jay and his mom. So like I was saying just now, there was this scene where Jay okay, even before that, so Jay kind of like kidnaps his mom and puts her in the car, and he locks her in this room to get her off drugs and to get her through the withdrawal symptoms. That was so heart-wrenching to watch, dude. I was just like, oh my god. It was very sad to watch, but it was in a, like, oh god, it was so cool. Like, I got shivers. But leading up to that, so one of the other scenes in that same category that really was one of my favorite scenes of the entire show was when Christina relapsed and lied to Jay about it and pretended that she was still working at the patty shop, the burger place, and obviously she came home. Jay found out, and Jay shot himself with heroin just so that Christina could see what he has to deal with and what he has to witness. Oh my god, that scene, Christina was hysterical. Jay was like, that scene itself deserves an Oscar. Like, it was. And the next part was obviously when she had the overdose. Dude, I thought she was gonna die, and I was just like, if she dies, I'm not watching the show, because no. And it's just the way I don't know, man, the way that they just had to resuscitate her, and Jay was so scared for his life seeing his mother like unconscious. But what I really liked about that part is Nate didn't take any of that bullshit. Yes, he almost saw his mother die, but at the end when they were sitting in the pool, he was like, get your shit together or get out. And I really liked that, because it also showed the way, you know, different people cope with a family member who deals with drug abuse. You know, one of them tries to save the person and the other one's just like, you have to get your shit together, you can't keep doing this to us. So it's a very interesting way to see the two sons grapple with their mother's addiction and how she goes on her journey to be clean. I think that's one of my favorite parts and the favorite storylines of the entire show. And just Jay in general, I can talk about Jay the entire video, honestly. His storyline was so interesting. Although I will say in season 3 when he suddenly got a baby, I was just like, huh? Like, what? Out of nowhere, just like, when? Oh, okay. Let's just go through. I have actually a list of things that I have like kind of problems with. Okay, honestly, as much as I have raved about the show, I want to go through a few things that were just too many loose ends in the show that I was just not happy with. And if you're not happy with it also, please enlighten me, because I can't. Okay, So the show was cancelled, but honestly, even if it wasn't cancelled, I don't think they would have been able to fix it because it was just so what? Okay, let's talk about the scene in season 3 where Christina suddenly becomes this like, I don't even know what she is honestly. And then Alvy finds Christina at the house, remember? When he was with his own girl and then they were driving and then like Christina's like texting him from the outside. But then there was no resolution to that. I was just like, yes, Alvy, catch her. Like, what? There was no conversation about it, no resolution. I don't even know whether Alvy really knew what she was doing. And I was like, what? So I was a bit annoyed at that. That there was just, I wish Alvy and Jay and Nate could have been like found out about the house and found out what their mother is up to and just, I don't know, have that conversation. I want some drama, I want some tea. So I was upset at that. Kayla in season 3, what was even her character? Like, it was completely unnecessary. I think that they introduced that character because Alicia left, which we'll get into later. But Kayla's character, I have a feeling, was, if they didn't get cancelled, I think that they would have developed that character in season 4, if there was a season 4, which honestly there really should be because I have so many questions. She was cute, she's very pretty. She kind of looks like Addison Rae actually. I can't get that comparison out of my head. She's a very pretty girl, and I mean, the first part of her storyline was very interesting, obviously, because, you know, she was so excited, 18-year-old girl, to start this business, this industry, and then she got abused her first day out, and you know, when she got into the bathtub and all those bruises and handprints, it was just that one made me feel like throwing up. That was a very, very good start to her character. But then, like, it went like this, and then it went like that. Like, huh? After that, at the end of the season, she's with the family, like at Alvy's fight, and I'm like, what? Like, where? What? There's just something missing. So, yeah, was not happy with that. Also, like, she was helping Jay donate Nate's clothes, which we will get into that as well. And like, she was helping out Christina. Like, why? There was no relation, there was no logic to that. So yeah. Dom in season 3, another new character that was completely unnecessary. Again, interesting. Like, watch at first just because he was very mysterious, he was very weird, and like, he got weirder and weirder throughout the show, which I like to watch. He was very much of an asshole, which again brings, you know, levels to the show. Like, I get that, you know, his tension with Lisa, his tension with Alvy, again, interesting to watch, everything is good. My question is, why was he like that? There was no depth to his character. Okay, let's talk about the main thing, which is Nate, his fate at the end of season 3. This is the biggest spoiler, so if you haven't watched the show and if you're planning to watch the show and you're still watching my video, literally exit my video right now because you are going to hate me for this. But Nate, his death. This is what I think. I think that if they weren't cancelled, Nick Jonas wanted to leave the show, so they had to kill him off. That's how I perceived it, which I hate. I hate when actors are killed off because famous actors want to leave the show. I just hate it because it's so irritating. Their storyline is so good, and then after that you just kill them off because what, there are better opportunities that come. What? Like, you can't just give up on a character like that. That's what I think. But if that wasn't the reason and the creator of the show had a reason for killing off Nate that wasn't because Nick Jonas wanted to leave the show, I want to know what it is. They have way too many deaths, and they don't give us enough time to grieve each death and to really process it or go through the characters as they mourn the deaths. They just jump from one death to another without any grieving process, which is why when Nate's death came around, I wasn't shocked. I didn't cry. I was just like, I mean, I was shocked. Because the way that the death was done was very, very scary and out of nowhere, which again, good shock factor, fine. But I was just like desensitized to it almost. I'm like, what? Huh? Why? So, and then all of a sudden he's dead, and all of a sudden they're grieving him. Like, it's too fast, it's too chop. I want to see the crying, I want to see all of that. But this show doesn't show a lot of the grief process for all these deaths, which as a viewer I like to watch. But you know, maybe some viewers would prefer it this way, that it's not so sappy. But I mean, I love my crying scenes, so yeah. Okay, let's talk about Alicia. Alicia came in season 2 and then just left. What? Again, interesting character, female fighter, love to see that on screen. She did very well as a character, very interesting, but again, it was so touch and go. First, we find out that she's a mother. I'm like, okay, cool. Then no one cares about it. We never see her son. We never see her contact her son in any way. We never see her like look at photos of her son and miss. Ryan has no idea. They just keep showing sex scenes between Ryan and Alicia, and I wonder if that's the only reason they had her in the show, for sex scenes. And I really wish it wasn't, because like her storyline was interesting. And then Ava came in, even more interesting. She leads Jay off the rails and they go into this toxic drug abusive relationship. Interesting to watch. And then Ava dies. I loved that. Oh, I sound like sadistic, but no, as in, that was such a shocking death. I did not see that coming at all. I was like, alright, great, Alicia comes running. And then season 3 starts, all disappeared. All disappeared. Like, Alicia disappears. We don't even see her grieve her sister. Jay, yes, we still see the aftermath of that, but where did Alicia go? Why? They didn't even... One thing I will say the show did very well was the miscarriage and Lisa's storyline with the miscarriage and Albie's storyline. Lisa went through turmoil. You see her as this very hard ass, but suddenly you see her lose complete control of herself. She's giving herself to men. She is just numb. She drinks and drinks. She has panic attacks, and I don't know, she just becomes this very unlikable person, which I love to see. You know, from someone that's like, oh yes, like such a hard ass to this someone that's just very unlikable, but you know why she's unlikable. You know that something traumatic happened to her, and seeing her character deal with that loss, that was interesting to watch. That was very well done. Alfie dealing with his loss and being honest, like he was just like, I don't feel anything. When he was at the motel, he was like, I don't feel anything. I just ruined my office because that's what I thought a man should do. I loved that. It was so interesting. I was just like, that's true. They're not giving us the normal crying scenes, which okay, fine, but then they give us this. So well done. So the miscarriage was very, very well done. Point being, this show is a masterpiece. It is very well directed, very cinematic, very interesting shots. The way they start the show and they continue into the show, very, very interesting. Great show, binge worthy. I'll give it like a 7.5 out of 10, only because there are too many loose ends, which frustrates me as a viewer, and I really wish they would tie that up. But other than that, like, I can forgive them, because at the end of the day, the actors are just such talented human beings, and Jonathan Tucker just did it for me. He is the reason why I would say watch this show, just to watch him act. In conclusion, watch the show. It's on Netflix. I'll leave the link down below. You will thank me later, and let me know what you think if you watch the show. Let me know in the comments below. Let's have a discussion about it. Slide into my DMs at SejolXX. Let's talk about the show. What other shows I've been watching on Netflix, let me know as well. Like this video if you enjoy my reviews / like rants about show, and subscribe if you want more. I'll have more videos coming soon, and see you all in my next video. Bye.